So this section is the congruence postulate section. The congruence postulate theorem is just ways to be able to say triangles are congruent without knowing every single side. And I'll, of course, show you what I mean by that. So we go to our first fill in the blank here. The main idea. You don't need to know the measure of all 6 pairs of congruent parts, so the 3 sides and the 3 angles, to know two triangles are congruent. You can use our congruence postulates. Come on. There we go. Postulates instead. So what does it look like? Well, here's our first one. These postulates are named by the 3 parts you do need. So SSS. S stands for sides. So if you know all the sides of a triangle are congruent to the sides of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. So you can use the visual cues. I always tell my students to go ahead and write it out. This little dash mark, it's on the side. So I know that's a side. Dash mark again. That's another side. That's another side. So this triangle is all 3 sides marked, as does this one. Okay? So, which triangle shows side, side, side? It's clearly this pair. If I look at the other one, I'll do this one. This is a side, but this on the inside, that's an angle. And then a side. So that doesn't work out the same way. So that'll be later. What we care about is if all 3 sides are the same. So which triangles are congruent? We would say triangle DEF is congruent to triangle. Make sure you match, right? So D and A are both between the 1 and the 3. So I'm going to start with A. E is between the 1 and the 2. B is also between the 1 and the 2. And then I would have C. Make sure you're watching order while you do these type of problems. Reason, they have all 3 sides. The next one, if 2 sides and the included angle, let me scoot this back up. So this is the side angle side postulate, are corresponding to 2 sides in the included angle. Okay? And then triangles are congruent. Order really matters here, so make sure you're careful. So I'm going to go ahead and do this first one. I see this 9. That's a side because it's on the outside. It matches with this one. The 10 match and the 5s match. Well, this is side, side, side again, and I'm looking for the side angle side. So these two don't work for what I want. Now I come to these ones. I see this 1 tick mark, side. Okay? I see this 36. It's on the inside of both, so I'm going to mark that with an angle. And then I'm going to mark a side. Okay? So you can see it's made this sandwich between the sides and the angles. So I could say triangle. I'm going to go XOF for my order for this one. Is congruent to triangle. X was up here, so that should match with C. I went to O next, so that would be B. And F matches with A. So that is side, angle, side. So it matters the order you're writing them in. Same idea. Next one, if 2, this is angle, side, angle, or ASA. So this time it's 2 angles. Sorry. So if 2 angles and the included side of a triangle are congruent to the 2 corresponding angles and the included side. So we'll do this one more time. Here I have the 9, and it matches with a 9. My 8s match. Oops. And these angles actually match. But if I look at them, they're still not congruent because I have side, angle, side, which isn't even what I'm looking for. So that was from before. But look at this. I'm reading this in order. It's ASS. If we're spelling out donkeys, we know it's wrong. No donkeys are allowed. All right? We'll talk about that in a second. This other one. Right, sorry. If I look in the corner here, I see this arch mark. There's no number given, but I do know if they both are given that little arch, they're both angles. Okay? Then I see this double marking, so I'm going to go ahead and put an S by that. And then the 92s match, so that's another angle. So because I wanted angle, side, angle, this is the one I'm going to use. Okay, this other side is also congruent, but I just didn't need it in this situation. So I'm going to say triangle X, Y, Z. X matches with R, Y matches with S, and Z matches with D. So RST. So just be careful. It may have a few different markings, but make sure you're looking at whatever Apex is asking for at that particular time. And then I believe this is our last one. This is the angle side theorem. So two angles next to each other and then a side. So two angles and a non-included side, so a side that's not sandwiched, are congruent to the corresponding two angles and side of another triangle. The triangles are congruent. So again, what you really need to do, write out those A's, write out those S's. Looking here, I have an A. What the heck? This is why I won't become a favorite YouTuber anytime soon, I guess. Alright. I don't even know where it went. Where am I going? Alright. If I'm looking in here, I have that 24. That's an A. On the outside here, I have a side of 15, and I have another side. You read them in like a circular order. So that is ASS. I have a donkey, which also matches with this one. But donkeys do not work. So we're going to say no to that. Okay? The other one, what am I looking for? I'm going to make sure I find that. Here's my first angle. Out of this corner with the X, it matches with R. I can come up here, just because I want my angles next to each other, I'm going to come this way. And I see Y and S also match. So I'm going to put another A there. And then the 10s match. So once again, I have this situation where I have an extra side. I just don't need it. I just needed the A, and the S to make that postulate. So that is triangle XYZ again. Congruent to triangle RST. Okay. These are the combinations that do not prove. So these fail. I've already talked about that one. Okay? If you have two congruent sides and a non-congruent angle, and if you look at that backwards, you get a donkey. You get an inappropriate word. We can't do that. I'm not going to get in trouble with the school board for teaching you inappropriate things. So if you get this, you've done something wrong. Having all congruent angles. Angles are not enough. You need at least one side to prove something is congruent. Okay? Practice. What postulate does this? 9, 9, they're both sides. 5, 5, they're both sides. 10, 10, I have 3 sides. Thus, this would be SSS. That's mostly probably what you're going to have on your Apex, is they give you 2 pictures. You're trying to figure out which one you're using. The 9 and the 9, once again, we got some sides. The 62 is an angle. And then the 17 is a side. Well, look, I have side, angle, side. And I'm done. Okay, we'll go over this more. I know this is a section a lot of people don't like. Hopefully it'll go well.